Airtable launched its brand new product, Super Agent. This is a really big launch because it's not a feature inside of Airtable. It's a completely new product. My name is Cherry Yang, and I'm the CEO of Clarybase. We help teams find clarity in their data. Today, we'll dive into trying Super Agent, discussing the launch itself, as well as sharing a few predictions. All right, so we have some tabs already open, and I'm just going to go to superagent.com. Inside of Super Agent, there's a very simple box. You can put in your prompt, and then you can also select whether you want a report or a slide deck or some other thing that you wanted to generate. The whole thing is about giving a prompt and then coming up with something a little bit more polished than the ChatGPT like text responses. So let's take a look at one of the questions I've asked earlier in the day. I thought it would be fun to ask Super Agent to share a little bit about itself. So this is my question. Can you tell me why Airtable launched Super Agent and why now? How come it's not connected with Airtable itself? And what's likely on the roadmap? So I thought this would be a nice tie-in to the actual video itself. So while it's a simple page, it does show you the output really well. I'm actually just going to put this question in one more time in our other tab here, and we can watch it run together. Before Super Agent actually creates a fully fleshed out response, it's going to, first of all, break down the task. And the whole point of Super Agent is that Airtable has already created different agents that might focus on marketing, that might focus on financial research, that might focus on particular angles of solving a problem. And then on top of that, there's a control panel or project manager that's guiding all the agents on what to actually do. So you can see maybe this is the person that loves control in me, but as Super Agent actually breaks down the problem and then makes it into smaller chunks, it's actually going to start showing you exactly what questions it's asking. Okay, right on time. So over here, you can see it break down the problem into smaller pieces. It's conducting the web searches, which is a different level of transparency than a lot of the other agent tools will give you. And it's kind of nice to see the progress bar of how quickly it's doing the work. I'm going to go navigate away from this page because it can take 5 to 10 minutes to generate a actual response. And over here, I can show in the actual response itself. It's really visual. It's not just text, which is nice for visual learners or for people who want to take in information in a bit more of a polished way. And let's say if someone was doing more entry-level research, I think it's even nice to be able to think and take away some aspects of how the AI decided to format the information and be able to present it. I also really loved all of these little interactive points of the Super Agent output. I thought this was really special because you can essentially hover over things and then get down here. And then again, you can expand and collapse sections if you want to. So this is all really cool. I mean, the research itself, I think some of this, if I looked up and asked what is the competitive nature of the agentic field right now, I think ChatGPT can probably come up with this as well, but it's just a really nice layout of giving you a timeline, giving you the different companies, and giving a little bit of a short takeaway. Again, not just in text or bulleted format. It's also neat that you can export the output. So over here, you can click export if you want to get the information out. Earlier, I also made a slide deck on pretty much the same prompt, and the slide deck you can export as well. But just a funny thing Airtable UI sometimes will do is when I created a PowerPoint slide with Super Agent, the export button is at the top right. And then when I went to go create a landing page using their agent, the export button is down here instead of up here. So there's some weird inconsistent UI things. I'm sure someone was really thoughtful about it, but that definitely threw me off. Okay, so next up, let's just take a look at the current agent that was running. So it's completed all its research, and then it's giving you a little bit of a timeline once again of it's been thinking for a couple minutes on this final report, and then it's going to finish analysis and then give you the final report. So there's just a little bit of processing that's happening. That's why I preloaded all of these other agents before I came in to actually record this video. It's a little bit funny because earlier it took 2 minutes to plan how to approach this question, and then it's now synthesizing for 10 minutes. So it seems like they're really taking a lot of information and putting it all together and taking time to do so. So that's really cool. It can also just answer simple questions quickly as well. I tried that too, but no point in showing you something really simple. You could try that yourself. And now let's transition to talking about the launch itself. This is coming at a point where lots of different agentic tools have already launched their own versions of agents. And it's also coming 3 months after Airtable's acquisition of Deep Sky. If you want to stay in the loop about any of the upcoming updates, do subscribe to the channel. I don't make a lot of these reaction videos, but I do think super agents have a lot more features that's going to come out, and it could really fundamentally change how people use and interact with Airtable. So I'm going to keep on top of things and release these videos. Subscribe if you want to get more. So the first month of Airtable releasing anything is always a little bit wonky. For example, maybe a couple years back, Airtable released its interface feature. That in the beginning was also a pretty rough launch. I would say it took us 6 months, maybe 8 months for clients to be able to actually adopt it confidently. And even with the AI fields now, we're still seeing mixed adoption where they're a little bit more restricted in terms of what you can do. And when that AI field tool first launched, it was being throttled a ton by the AI credits Airtable actually gave you. So I remember in one of my first tests with a client, we ran the AI agent field inside of Airtable. And before the test even finished, I had run out of credits in Airtable. So that was really hard to prove the use case for the client when you just couldn't physically get enough credits. That's obviously changed now, which is wonderful, but I'm really happy that Super Agent, you can just use it and it's not a super restricted beta or launch where people have a really hard time actually testing it out. In terms of questions I have, I'm definitely curious on the security measures inside of Super Agent. I'm sure there's going to be different tiers for enterprise where even on paid ChatGPT account or any of the AI tools out there, you could say, don't use my information to train AI. I'm not sure if that's the case right now, or I didn't see that particular setting. So that's something that I'm curious to know. The other thing I'm quite curious to know is about the pricing piece inside of Super Agents. Because this is a different product, I doubt Airtable is going to allow all of its existing users to use Super Agent forever for free. So now let's get into predictions. The predictions themselves, I do agree that it's really important for Super Agent to integrate with other tools. I'm sure it will start to integrate with Airtable pretty soon. But if you could integrate with email or other tools that people are using day in, day out, I think the intent of keeping Super Agent separate from Airtable is because they want to integrate, let's say, maybe with Monday or with other tools. It just opens up more flexibility and optionality for Super Agent to grow as a tool on its own. Or maybe it'll take information fed from someone else's Google Drive. And then the second thing I'm predicting is that the user licenses will be totally separate, and this is going to have a very different angle from a sales perspective for any new clients. So I'm actually quite curious as to how Airtable sales teams are going to sell Airtable versus sell Super Agent. These two tools are not connected right now, so it's almost like needing to sell two completely different products, and then you have to decide what the customer is more interested in. And the third prediction is that the good adopters for Super Agent are going to completely change the way that they engage with Airtable 6 to 12 months from now, once all the new features and integrations start to roll out. The reason is because right now, if I'm inside of Airtable and I want to do research on a new customer of mine or a new lead of mine, I have to take that information out, put it into ChatGPT, or connect it using Make, put it through ChatGPT or Claude, and then have it do market research for me. So right now, there's these connection points or these manual points of entry. And I think if Super Agent is able to actually connect directly with Airtable data, that's going to be far better. Super Agent is also saying the tool is going to connect with premium data sources. I imagine that's going to be on a higher pricing tier. So if you're not paying for Airtable or not paying for Super Agent, rather, you're probably not going to get access to SEC filings. Over here, let's see. This is just AI talk, I think. But in theory, that would be great if it could take all of Airtable's data, or if it could take all of someone's spreadsheet data and just ping them on Slack as if it's a member of their team saying, hey, this order is going to be late, or hey, this step of the project seems like it could be at risk. I would just be very curious about the accuracy of that kind of ping and that kind of like fundamental primitive knowledge network infrastructure. But yeah, I'm hopeful. A year is a really long time in technology terms, at least especially now with how quickly things are moving. So overall, I am very optimistic about this new tool that Airtable has launched, and I'm going to share these updates as they come out or as new features come out around Super Agent. If you want to stay in the know, do subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon.